back. If you're watching us here on The Breakfast Show, it's time to take a look at our first segment. As we said earlier about this a very interesting Islamic relief kind of festival. We're going to know more about it, of course. Very much delighted to have joining us Ms. Wissam Rashwan. She's a volunteer in the Islamic relief, and I think it's called ذاكر معانا, and as part of the Colors of Spring, something like that. A lot of people don't know much about the festival. Can you tell us about the details of it?
Well, the festival is part of the Study With Us initiative. It's called Colors of Spring. We had it yesterday in the Contemporary Arts Center, 15th of May City. The festival had mainly 150 of our students in the initiative from Halwan and العياط. We had 5 art workshops in the festival for drawing and photography, graphics, making accessories with ceramic pastes, pottery. It's mainly for celebrating the festivities of spring. And we had, along with our 150 students, students with special needs.
Is this the first festival of its kind? If it is, what are the highlights of this festival?
It is the first one because we started the initiative in October 2011. It's mainly for having special needs kids integrate with their normal peers, and at the same time celebrate festivities of the spring.
I did notice when we first spoke in the intro that it's basically targeting disabled ones here in Egypt. What can you tell us about the disabled? I mean, what kind of disabled people are participating in this festival, and how do you get their talents? I mean, do they have the talents of drawing on ceramics and so forth, or how do you get to, collect all the activities that they do, or whatever they portray? I mean, we have pictures here. There's also little kids, whether they're drawing and so forth. What can you tell us about them?
Okay, mainly because we have disabled kids in the initiative itself and study with us. And they also are in the early intervention and rehabilitation center for Islamic relief. So I already have them in the center and in the initiative. They have a very high rate of creativity, around 90%, because they have special needs specialists that sit with them and gives them classes in our headquarters.
Now, I see them that they're very young. You said that a lot of them have a high percentage of creativity. How do you deal, or how does the organization or the institute that is in charge of organizing such festivals or bringing out the creativity in those disabled manage to deal with those disabled people, whether they're children or young adults?
Mainly the initiative is for children. We're teaching primary and preparatory school students. And with the early intervention center and having classes for them, we have specialists that sit with them and give them classes, and they also join the classes for normal students. So we're trying to integrate them into the society and have them accepted by their normal peers.
And have you managed to do that? I mean, do you have any successful stories that you would like to share with us in terms of disabled students with creativity, and how you've managed to put them into equal ground with normal ones?
We have one of our students, Daha. She has muscle atrophy.
What is that?
She cannot move. The muscles are getting smaller in size, so she cannot really move. She joined our classes in Study With Us initiative with her normal peers. She's very smart. Also, she has a physical disability. At the same time, we intervened to have her attend classes normally in school because they were refusing at the beginning. So we intervened, and she's now attending classes with other students in a normal classroom.
Yeah, and the reason why I asked you this question is because in this part of the world, the society does not seem to accept, or whether it's through their attitudes or through the norms or the environment, they do not seem to accept disabled ones or disabled children in particular, because they're the most vulnerable ones who tend to be very sensitive towards this issue. Having that yet, I mean, according to this festival and what we've seen in pictures, and maybe you can share with us and tell us that has not caused any side effects or stopped those disabled children from becoming creative and to show their abilities in something that they can be very good at. Is that something that is just natural within those disabled ones, or are there people or experts who talk to them out of it and have them put all their negative energy and positive energy into something that can be of positive outcome or of something innovative for them?
It's both, actually. You have the experts, because some of them don't go to schools because they're not accepted, and you don't have schools for children with disabilities here in Egypt. It's not really widespread. So we have classes for them. We teach them activities, and we start the learning process from the beginning with experts. At the same time, they have the willingness to learn. So it's both of them. They want to learn, and they finally found the opportunity to learn. And also, the other children are accepting them. It's in our initiatives, they're starting to accept them, and they're accepting them as an integral part of their community.
How popular or how well did the festival go? I mean, were there a large number of people flowing into it? What can you tell us about what have captured the visitors the most in this festival?
The festival was mainly for the students. For our initiative was students and their family along with them. So it was basically for them. We didn't have visitors, but the students themselves and their families. And it was new for them to have art workshops. It's not something they have at school because they go to governmental schools mainly. So it was a new experience for them.
You said how long have you been working in this field?
It's volunteer work. I started with the initiative in October.
So how far, and I'm sure that was something that you're very much interested in, so you probably have read and heard a lot about it. How well do you evaluate the performance of civil society and such organizations in protecting those disabled ones and having them have their rights in the society?
It's very important, but we have a very large number of disabled people here in Egypt. They're not getting enough care, but we're sharing the spotlight on that. Recently, we've been doing this, so the efforts are increasing and people are trying to help them out. But it's not enough yet, because I think there should be collaboration between the government and the civil society associations as well.
Yeah, you said that there's a large number of disabled people here in Egypt. Do you think that the disability of people are equal, or does it depend on how bad their health situation or their mental situation is, that determines how they will be treated or accepted by society? For instance, the blind ones, or the ones that can't move, or the ones that have limited mental ability. I mean, does it differ from a disability to another, or do you think that in general, those who fall under the umbrella of disabled are not being very much cared of by the government and the associations?
The problem is, here in Egypt, they're kind of ignored. It's kind of, they want them to stay at home and stay away. They don't have to try to be integrated into the society, and that's an issue. We don't have any schools for them, as I said before, and that's an issue because they're not getting any form of assistance from the government at schools, at hospitals, or anything. They're mainly depending on the civil societies, and it's a large number. It cannot be contained, all of it, through the assistance of civil society.
Yeah. Now, let's speak a little bit about ذاكر معانا, about this initiative. What is it about? Where about did the name come from? What does it indicate?
Okay, the initiative is for the children coming from families in need in governmental schools. So we get the students from preparatory and primary stage, and we teach them the headquarters in حلوان. We bring in volunteers. Right now, we're serving 165 students from حلوان and العياط. We teach them, the volunteers come and teach them Arabic, English, and math every Saturday. We use the website of the Ministry of Education. We use interactive education websites like School. So when you're using computers and the internet, students become more receptive and they get a better understanding of school curriculums.
Now, how important is this initiative? Because nowadays a lot of people do not seem to be very much interested in voluntary work. And that's very sad because in other parts of the world, it is a compulsory duty that each and every individual would have to do towards a society one way or the other, you know, be voluntarily involved in something, community. This is not very much popular or found in this part of the world. So how important do you think this initiative is, and how do you think you can attract more volunteers, and that would in return, how would that affect changing the future of Egypt?
Education is very important. In the initiative, the students they're really willing to learn, but no one's teaching them because of the large numbers in classes in school. And the volunteers, when they come and teach them, we have very small number of students in classes. We have maximum 7 students. So it's really important that you bring in more volunteers and to make this an integral part of our culture here. So it's mainly through media, through popular TV shows that you can bring in more volunteers and tell them how important, and their impact is really strong. Because right now we have students, when you started in the first term, they had very low grades, and now they have very high grades. So we're making a difference.
Yes, you are a volunteer in Islamic Relief. What is Islamic Relief? What can you tell us about that?
It's an NGO that was established in the UK in 1984, and now it has more than 31 offices all over the world, in Europe, in the Americas, and in other 30 countries. It's mainly concerned with alleviating poverty and helping people all over the world. Here in Egypt, they have very distinguished projects like the Early Intervention and Rehabilitation Center. It's for disabled children, and it's been serving around 2,000 students. 2,000 children since it started. They're also sponsoring families in need, around 150 now in Halwan and العياط.
What other successful projects or initiatives has Islamic Relief managed to undergo, and how successful are their projects? I mean, you said they have opened at least 31 offices around the world, so that should give a positive indication. How are you seeing the feedback of this institution or association here in Egypt?
It's very positive, because they're helping other Arab countries right now, in Yemen, in Syria, and in many other countries. It's very positive because people, when I go to volunteer, people are there and they're taking appointments. They're in the middle, they're actually giving literacy classes, they're giving sessions for raising family awareness. So they're having many projects, and they're getting a very positive feedback from the people.
Do you think that nowadays there are certain associations that people would trust dealing with, even if they want to do voluntary work or to help in finances, that could help, you know, those associations proceed with the work and help other people out? I'm asking particularly the term Islamic. I mean, if an organization falls under such a term, would people have a bond or trust between them and the organization, or do you think this is not the case here in Egypt?
Look, Islamic Relief is not concerned with only helping Muslims. It's helping people all over the world. It doesn't have a certain religious current. But people here, yes, I think with the current political situation, everything, people would trust something that's into the Islamic, belonging to an Islamic current. So I think, yes, it's affecting people to a certain extent.
Okay, Wissam Rashwan, volunteer in Islamic Relief, thank you very much for joining us here. Good luck with your project, of course, and we hope that the issue of the disabled ones here in Egypt would be resolved, and that they would be treated equally in society and have all the rights. And of course, good luck with try to provide them with all the help to see more creativity and innovation with their work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being here.
Thank you. And now it's time to go for some light news, and then we'll come back with our second segment.